Good morning, everyone. I, Dhairya Pandya of CE department, is going to explain a very vital topic, which is the working of a smartphone CPU. What is inside SOC? SOC, which stands for System on a Chip. Basically, our smartphone has a variety of components that can do dozens of different things, and it is considered as a brain of the center or the center which is located at the center of all the components. It connects all the small parts of a smartphone, and we will deep dive into the layouts and the key sections of a SoC. And next, we will explain about how the data flows through the SoC. These chips are very small and are very complex, as they are between 5 to 10 million transistors that make up the SoC, and they all need to fit into the area the size of a penny. This microchip is actually composed of two key parts. On top is the DRAM, or the dynamic random access memory, which is the working memory of the smartphone, and on the bottom is the SoC, which is considered as the brain of the smartphone. This setup is also known as package on package microchip, or POP. Typically, this is the microchip and which separates the layer of the DRAM and the SoC, and each are called as a die. System on a chip is divided into two functional areas. Here is a graphical representation or the block diagram to explain it further. The key areas of SoC are the GPU, the CPU, the shared memory, which is around 4 to 8 megabytes, the digital signal processor, which interacts with the speaker, microphone, and other sensors, the display engine, the video processor, the image signal processor, the modem, uh, the storage controller, the memory controller, the security enclaves, which executes the encryption and it maintains the private key and the public key in a computer, and a number of peripheral functions such as the clock, temperature sensor, debug ports, and general purpose ports. Some phones also includes the power management performed by separate chips outside the SoC. Some companies like Apple also have a neural processing unit, or NPU, that is specially a circuit which generally makes the time makes manages all the components efficiently. To understand what happens when you take a picture on a smartphone, first the photons from the screen enters the camera lens, flows through the color filter array, and hits the sensor's photodiode pixels, and they are converted into analog electrical current, which is then converted into digital 12-bit binary value. A 12 megapixel camera generally has all the binary values, which is either stored by red, green, or blue, and thus all the image is considered as a raw, and still has to undergo a number of image processing steps to turn them into a raw image, which is recognizable image, where the pixel of each have a red, green, or blue value. But before these processes take place, data must be stored somewhere, and as a result, it should be stored in the DRAM, or the dynamic random access memory. To do this, the data travels from the camera and enters to SoC through MIPI, which can send or receive data at around 5 to 8 megabits per second. This image data is then routed through the by the NOC, which stands for the network on a chip, through SoC to the memory controller and into the DRAM, which is, as mentioned before, is located above the SoC. There are two quick things to note. First, the data path between SoC and DRAM, which is basically through the NOC, it's shared by the chips or the components, and it plays a vital role in transferring data from the SoC to DRAM. And second, a 12 megapixel RAW image takes up around 24 megabytes. However, the image cache on the SoC is typically 4 to 8 megabytes, and it's shared among all the processes on the SoC. Therefore, when the image signal processor or the video processor works on recently taken picture, in order to make it viewable, or to compress it, they can only work on small subsections of the overall image, leaving the entire image temporarily stored on the DRAM. The next step is for the image signal processor or the ISP. It reads the uncompressed image data and performs several steps to make the image more dynamic and more clear. Here are the list of the functions performed. It generally color corrects the entire image. It then de, uh, de, demosec, denoises the image. It sharpens the image and enhances the image quality. It also color corrects the image and tone down the map to make the picture more vivid and more clear. To get the picture promptly appear on the mobile screen, the series of steps are involved. The RGB image data is taken from the image signal processor and then it is sent through GPU where it gets overlaid into graphics of the camera app and scaled to fit the screen. The resulting RGB values get sent to the display processor and then image is routed to the display where it is converted into intensities of the current in order to light up the corresponding patterns of red, green and blue pixels, and this is how image is displayed on the screen. Okay, so this was a presentation from my side. Thank you.